Welcome, everybody. Today we're going to speak with Debbie Leland, who is from Prairie Gypsies in Oklahoma City. Hi, Debbie.
Hi, Jeff. How you doing?
We're doing all right.
Good.
I'm glad you could join us today.
Well, me too. It took us a minute, didn't it?
It did. I think we started sometime in January, and we finally worked it out.
Like it. For sure.
So it wasn't, sometimes these things they'd go crazy. Now, tell us, for the people who aren't familiar with Prairie Gypsies, and I find it hard to believe that somebody wouldn't be familiar with it, but tell us what Prairie Gypsies are, or is.
Well, what we've been at this location in the historic Paseo district of Oklahoma City, which is the arts district of Oklahoma City. We've been here for 23 years. And we started out basically moving from a tea room that I had where we had been doing lots and lots of catering to building out this commercial kitchen here. We have a really nice big commercial kitchen so that we could make it more convenient to cater. But then the people that came to the tea room all the time were moaning and groaning because they weren't going to be able to come to the tea room. So we said, well, what if you just come by and pick up dinner? So we started out with just the kitchen space, and we canvassed the area and sent out faxes, and people would order, and they would come by the kitchen on their way home from work and pick up a little brown bag with their food in it. And then 6 months later, we took a space, not the space directly next to us, but one to the west of that space. The space I'm in right now was a bookstore. And so it was our exercise program. We would go up and down the sidewalk all day and take food and put it in the cooler. And so that was our retail space. It still is our retail space. And then we were all growing. I had two partners at the time. They're the other two ladies on the logo. I'm the one in the middle.
Here, let me put up
that is correct. I'm the one in the middle.
All right.
Yeah, that's it. So all three of us were growing tons of herbs, and we had just an abundance of basil. And so, not being busy enough, we decided, well, hey, can we make some jelly? So we started making the very first product that we made was Parmesan Gypsy, because that was the house dressing at my tea room. And the ladies, yes, that's it.
We have one ready, yes.
I'm so glad you're prepared.
Yes.
That actually was the house dressing at the tea room. And the ladies would come in their little fancy clothes, and when we take their ticket out to them, they'd pull mayonnaise jars out of their purses and ask us to put the dressing in it. That's the true story. So that was the very first product we did. And then from there, we made apple basil jelly because we had so much basil. We'd made pesto till we were cross-eyed. So what else can we do with it? So then
the apple basil was the first thing?
Apple basil was the first jelly.
Yeah.
Parmesan
the first jelly, I mean, yeah, because that's what this.
Yeah,
it's a good seller, yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. It makes a great sweet and sour sauce. I think I sent you guys all the recipes.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So that was the first jelly, and then we decided that was so clever that we'd see what else we could do with herbs. So we did strawberry lavender. It has fresh organic Oklahoma grown lavender blossoms in it. We did blackberry sage, because we also were growing a lot of sage. And then we did cherry rosemary. And so we had our little herbal basket gift set thing. And then we just started experimenting. Apricot mustard was the first mustard. And we did the tarragon mustard. And then we did chipotle lime a few years later. The mustards are all true mustards. They are made with mustard flour. They're not just made with a bunch of turmeric and other things. They're not like a French's, as you probably know. And we cook with all of those. And then on Valentine's Day, a couple years into this, we created Red Hot Lever Pepper Jam. And that is by far the biggest seller in the line. We ship that hot all year long.
Yeah, very popular here.
Yeah, as long as if we can touch the jar, we can put a label on it and we ship it. And then we did, for the centennial, we did Prairie Fire. And Prairie Fire is 5 berries and a lot of jalapeno. But that one is sweet with heat at the back, where Red Hot Lever is more sweet and sour with a kick.
Yeah, yeah.
And when we were making the apple basil, we had all of this apple pulp that we were just getting rid of. And so, you know, we thought, what can we do with this? Let's make apple butter. So we made apple butter. And then we had cherry pulp left over from the cherry rosemary. So we made cherry butter. And and then we had a bunch of people that had a whole lot of pears on their trees. And that's where pear pecan came from, is we just had cases and cases of pears that people were bringing us. And so pear pecan was born. So that pretty, and then also with the cherries, we came up with the cherry balsamic vinaigrette called Cherry Gypsy. Yeah. So that's pretty much the line. It keeps us busy. And of course right now, yeah, as I told you before, right now I can't get jars because of the problem with getting stuff from China.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, how did you all come up with Prairie Gypsies name?
Well,
I mean, you guys are very inventive and you don't want to throw anything out and you use things, and it seems to go along with that.
Well, actually, BJ, who is the brunette on the label, she is a well-known local artist, and she had gone to a prison art show and had bought this beautiful crazy quilt, kind of a backpack, a big old thing. We'd been using it for centerpieces on tables when we were catering and everything. And at the time was when we had first started bottling Parmesan Gypsy. And the redhead on the label, Claudia, said, if we don't come up with a name for this dressing right now, I'm going to call it Pinky the Parmesan Dog. So it involved me and BJ and a bottle of wine one night. And she had that backpack sitting on my dining room table. And she said, I can just see a gypsy traipsing across the prairie with this. And so it was just like, that's how it happened. It was like Prairie Gypsies, you know.
It's a great name. Yeah. I like that. So, I was going to ask you some other questions, but you were so thorough in explaining everything. I like most of the jellies and things, and even the butters, the mustard you mentioned, we have in stock. So people can certainly come and just.
You guys have been buying from us since the very beginning.
It's been a while, yeah. Yeah. It's still very, very, very popular. Well, has the pandemic changed the way you do things or the way your business at all?
It has affected the business, of course, because a big part of my business is catering.
Yeah.
And, I've done a few box lunch caterings, and last Thursday we actually did an on-site catering, but the way that people were wanting us to serve now is to prevent their guests from touching utensils and stuff. So we're like serving the plates. And we have a big event for Del City Chamber of Commerce on Thursday night. And that one's going to be a bit of a challenge because they don't want same thing. They don't want anybody touching anything.
Sure.
So that is different. And of course, when this all started and people got afraid to go out and visit businesses, rightfully so, they kind of stopped coming here for dinner too, because we do prepared meals so they can take it home, put it in the microwave, and eat it in their jammies.
All
So
right.
yeah, so we do casseroles and desserts and salads and entrees and all kinds of stuff as prepared meals. So we actually have never closed because we're considered essential because it's more like a grocery store.
Yeah.
And but I think that, well, I know a lot of people because I've heard them say it. They just assumed we were closed, and we're kind of a destination, in the arts district. So
Yeah.
yeah, it has impacted the business.
Yeah, as it has with everybody, like you said. So do you have any special, now you're the last of the original Prairie Gypsies, right?
Well, I'm the original owner because I was the tea room. I had
Oh,
the
okay.
tea room in it. Yeah. Well, I'd say
Okay.
the other two couldn't stand the heat, so they got out of the kitchen.
Well, it's good to know that, when you reach that level. So do you have any future plans that you can share with us, or have you thought of that at all?
Uh, right now, I'm just trying to figure out how to be as creative as I can to, get people back in.
Yeah.
Like my neighbors, the restaurants here right beside me and right across the street from me, they've had their dining rooms closed forever, but in the last 2 or 3 weeks, they've started having tables outside and letting people dine out in the air. Now that does not apply to us at all, but we're just all trying to do what we can to survive.
Yeah.
In
Well, I encourage everybody from Tulsa to put on your jammies, drive down to Oklahoma City, and tell them you're coming, and then they can have it ready for you, and then you just grab it and you drive back to Tulsa and
I'll
you eat
even
it.
heat it up and let them sit on the
Whoa.
sidewalk and eat it. Yeah,
Oh, that would be good too. Yeah.
in their jammies. Yeah.
Excellent. Could start something new, the Tulsa Jammy Brigade,
There you
or
go.
something.
There you go.
Yeah.
We are doing one thing October 17th, and I'm not sure how it is going to work yet, but there's a company in Oklahoma City called VI Branding and Marketing, and they have an event to raise money for United Way every year, and it's a chili cook-off, and they call it Carne Diem. But of course this year, and it's a huge event. This year, of course, we can't do it outside like we've always done downtown Oklahoma City. So they're having those of us that are involved in it, they're writing a cookbook for us, and we're putting our recipes in there. And then they're having mob cash events at the different restaurants and even here. Not quite sure how I'm going to work it here, but we'll get it ironed out. But ours is October 17th. And it's a really, really fun event. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I think
Yeah.
that would be cool. Well, Debbie, I appreciate you spending some time with us. And like I said, we have a lot of the product that you talked about and more. And it's good to know that any Tulsans in their jammies are welcome at any time.
Yeah. They can just bring their jammies and I'll let them change.
Okay. Even better. Yeah, even better. All right. Well, again, I appreciate you visiting with us, and we'll talk to you very soon.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jeff. That was fun.
Okay. You're welcome.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.